there are certain people, when they come to this level of knowledge and information concerning spirituality, they're coming out of this, this mindset in which they are giving praise to a God outside of themselves. So when they come into a system in which they are given the concept of praising the ancestors, or giving admiration to the ancestors, thanking the ancestors, and giving praise and homage to the Orishas or the Netters or the Owas or whatever particular term that you give for these particular principles within nature, the first thing that we think about concerning these particular systems is that we think these particular principles they exist outside of us. So we feel the need to make an altar. We feel the need to go to a particular temple or a particular festival. We feel that a certain priest has to pray over us or do just some type of ignition or ritual with us there or present in order for us to have access to something that's given to us by blood. All right. Understand that whatever archetype of a principle, whether it's masculine or feminine, whether it's Ogun or Oshun, whether it's Shakti or Shiva, whether it's Asar or Aset, understand these particular archetypes just reflect who you are. They don't exist. So when people say, oh, I saw Shakti in my dreams, I saw Kali in my dreams, I saw Ishtar in my dreams, or I was walking on water with Ogun, oh, I was fighting demons and slaying demons with Shango, these deities do not exist. You don't sound no different than a Christian who said that they had a near-death experience and met Jesus. You don't sound no different than a Christian who said they had a near-death experience and they met the devil and they were in hell. Understand that when we are dealing with these particular archetypes of energies, we are dealing with a reflection. Okay, we're dealing with a particular image or a symbol for something that we think is real in the subconscious. All right. So, when people out there be like, I have a relationship with Jesus, in their reality, that is their reality. Excuse me. Now, in the ultimate reality, we understand that that doesn't exist. So we have to understand the powers and principles in which we are dealing with. Because if we start to think that, okay, there's actually a deity out there by the name of Kali, there's actually a deity out there by the name of Oshun, then these powers will appear to us in those particular manners, right? So in the same manner, if a Christian receives a certain type of power and they identify that as Jesus, then that power will reveal to them, according to the subconscious, it's going to reveal to them as such. Because you make your spirituality or reality, you make that your reality. However you think spirituality is, you make that your reality. You are the center of your universe. So if you live in a particular world and you start to meet Shakti and Shiva and Vishnu and Brahma in your dreams, and you start to see that type of symbolism in Hinduism and Buddhism and stuff like that, and you live in that particular area, that's what's real to you. That's your spirituality. If you lived in Ethiopia and the particular deities of that particular area, start coming to you, these are energies revealing themselves to you in the best manner in which you can grasp the understanding. Because that's how the energies work. The archetypes in which you see Pampagira, or in which you see Baron, or Anasi, when you see these particular deities and they appear to you or reveal themselves to you, these are energies that are revealing themselves to you in ways in which you can understand them. Okay, that doesn't mean that these particular deities actually exist. Also, I want you to understand that these deities are just a reflection of you. How else were they able, to I guess you could say, manifest the image of these particular deities in a human manner? Because they are showing you that you are the reflection of them. You really think that these particular type of deities that exist in the spiritual world look like you? Understand that these deities don't look like you. All right? we don't look like this in the spiritual world. Okay, we look like something way more powerful that we be seeing in anime and stuff like that. That's how we appear. We appear like this in the physical realm. So when you look at these deities, Osar and Aset, and Oshun and Ogun, and Ubutala, you know, when you look at these particular deities and they look like you. Oshun, you know, looks like my mother, looks like my daughter, looks like my wife, looks like my sister, because that is that. Because Oshun is your mother and your daughter and your sister and your wife and your lover. They are all a reflection of her because she exists in them. Oh yeah, the Aset and Sekhmet and Heather, you know, they reflect my sister and my mother and my daughter and my lover and the girl I met across the street. That's because they reflect them. So understand that when you look at different archetypes of deities, understand that they reflect you. That's why they look like as such. That's why they look like humans. Because they are showing you about your divinity. They're not there for you to worship them and to give homage and admiration to them. They exist within you. You are a reflection of them. The reason why they appear in a humanly manner is not because you are in their image. They are in your image. They are in your image so that you can understand the divinity in which you have. The only difference between you and that deity that you see in hieroglyphs, or that deity that you see in whatever type of spirituality and whatever type of book, is that you have a body. You are placed within a shell. That's the only difference between you and an ancestor. That's the only difference between you and another deity that you identify as Vishnu or Asar or Shango or Oshun and Ogun and Ubutala and Oya. That's the only difference between you and another deity, is that you have a body. Once you leave this body, you're no different than them, because you return back to the supreme source. You are supreme consciousness contained in a body, which is why you are limited to information. Okay, that's why you don't know everything, because you're limited in this body. It's like something in the Bible when Jesus was talking to his disciples. He's like, I don't know when the Son of Man cometh. Only the Father knows. Because the Father is supreme consciousness. The Son of Man is the soul contained in the body. The soul does not know when it's going to awaken and arise and leave this body. It's limited. Okay? Understand that. So what you need to understand in conclusion is that when we are dealing with the powers and the principles concerning who we are as African people, understand that when we are looking at the Orishas and the Owas and whatever type of term that you use for these particular type of principles in these particular types of manners, you know, when we're dealing with nature, principles within nature, these deities exist within us. All right. And I'm not knocking anybody who wants to go to temples and synagogues and wherever place that you feel is respectable and appropriate for you to give homage to these deities. I'm not knocking any type of tradition that you use or do when you make an ancestral altar or an altar for the Orishas and so on and so forth. But understand that there is another way to go about it. Now understand also that however you appear to them and however you come to them is how you are going to be treated. If you come as a slave, you're going to be treated like a damn slave. If you come as a servant, you're going to be treated like a damn servant. But if you come as a king and a queen, you're going to be respected as a king or a queen. If you come as a god, you're going to be respected as a god. If you come as a brother, you're going to be treated as such. If you come as a sister, you're going to be treated as such. You get treated how you appear yourself to be. It's the same law in which you get whatever you put out into the universe. Right? You reap what you sow. So when you look at these deities, and certain deities might appear in a bad way, or watch the type of dealings you deal with these particular type of deities, it's not them, it's you. It's what you do. It's what you bring in the manifestation. It's what you ask of them. It's what you want them to do. It's these energies that exist within you. You might see certain Christians and they're living so bad and so horrible because they made that their reality. because they have made their own deity within their own bubble. They think that they have to beg and ask God for forgiveness. They have to beg and ask God for some change instead of taking authority into their hands and changing their reality. In the Bible, for an example, Jesus was asleep in a boat with his disciples, and it was a big giant storm, right? And the disciples were just in chaos. They were in fear. They thought they were going to die. So they started waking up Jesus like, yo, we about to die. Like, we about to die. And Jesus, he's over here like, these niggas, like. So he told the storm, peace, be still. And the storm immediately stopped. And he told his disciples, "O ye of little faith." Because they had the same authority. But the thing is, they didn't see themselves as they saw Jesus. Jesus specifically told them, the works I do, you can do also, and greater. But they still saw themselves as servants. They didn't see themselves as an equal to Jesus. When Jesus taught his disciples how to pray, he didn't say, my Father who art in heaven. He said, our Father who art in heaven. Christ dwells within you. That's the whole story of Christ. Christ is talking about who you are, your very divinity, your higher self. Once you grasp that understanding and that knowledge of who you are, when you are the Karas, you are Haru, you are the hero in your own journey, that's when you can tap into the kingdom of God, which dwells within you, as it says in the Bible. It's all there. In conclusion, when you look at different archetypes and different deities and Orishas and ancestors, so on and so forth, that you see these examples outside of you, understand that they all exist within you. But you have to grasp the concept outside of yourself so that you can understand what's within you. All right, understand that. But don't get so caught up on what's outside of you and what you see. You have to look within yourself. You have to understand what's within yourself so you can search within yourself and use the power you have to use the power of that which is within you so that you can save yourself. You have to bring it out. Let your light shine. Right? Let your light so shine that men may see your good works and glorify the Father which is in heaven. Supreme consciousness. It gets even deeper because some people feel like, oh, I'm just like Kali. Oh, I'm just like Oshun. Oh, I'm just like Ishtar. No. As a matter of fact, these deities are like you. Understand that each deity represents a certain personality or alter ego, quote unquote, that exists already within you. You just have to tap into it. You ever see somebody with like multiple personalities? Those are multiple deities, personalities, characters that exist within them. So understand, when you meet a particular woman and she's very sexually expressive, right? And she might be, showing that Venus energy, that Aphrodite, that Osset, Madonna, Madeline type of energy. That's a particular source of power that she's been gifted with, low-key. She's been gifted with to express to herself. It's not, or one woman might be very sexually expressive, another woman might tap into another type of energy, So when you see a woman who is expressing herself in a particular type of way, there were people who were so advanced in knowledge and information, they was like, that type of woman, we're going to name her Aphrodite. She has the Aphrodite energy. Oh, you see that woman over there? We're going to say that's Ishtar. You see that man over there? He's very fierce. He's very aggressive. We're going to call him Ogun. We're going to name that type of power Ogun. You see that man right there? He is very powerful. We're going to name that Obutala. And these are also different functions of the body. This is not as complex and so, spookish as we try and make it to be. All the spirituality. It's just things that just talk about who you are. If you're a trickster and you're very jokey and all around, people are like, oh, that's Eshu. You have that Eshu energy. It's kind of like what we do today. If somebody's acting up, we say, oh, you acting quote unquote ghetto. Somebody acting a particular type of way. Oh, you acting like Karen. You acting like Becky. So we make our own deities without even realizing it. You know what I'm saying? We make deities up without us even realizing it. So, it is what it is. The hot girl acting like a ain't shit nigga, thug ass nigga. You know, we make deities up all the time. You know, that we call stereotypes. A bad bitch. It's another deity.